Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, which is 11 AM in Australia or midnight if you're in the UK. I hope all you guys and girls are well. Remember, if you do miss the live streams, you can catch up and watch them at any time by clicking the videos tab at the top of my Twitch page. Smurfberry Barbecue, it's Phil. Phil is here. Phil is live. Good to see you, Smurf. So, we are going to continue working on the House in the Hollow game that we're making in the Unreal Engine 4. You can wishlist the game right now on Steam. Just click the graphic in my panels. That'll take you to the Steam store page. The game's not due to be released until the end of the year. We're working on the master bedroom. We are going to finish it today. I am determined. We are going to finish it today. Just going to grab a quick drink. So yes, we don't have a lot left to do. We've just got to do the put a couple of plants in, do some physics on the hanging lights. Finish the bookcase and maybe just put a couple of candles and stuff inside behind the bookcase in that hidden room to get it ready for when we want to come back to it to put the attic in. So let's jump straight into Unreal. So this is our master bedroom we're working with. Let's finish the bookcase first. So I need to edit the blueprint. Let me just pull it over onto this screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. I'm just got to put a few more books in. So I want to put a space here for one of the books that people can actually pick up and use or pick up and inspect. So let's put some books in. Now I think they're in here. Yes. Okay. So let's grab this book pile, I think. Let me just check my scaling values on my other book pile so everything scales the same. X. This is the one I want. Okay. Leg mug. Live at midnight UK time. What nonsense is this? I know. Midnight UK time. Until you guys start your daylight savings, which I'm not sure with the UK when that is. I know that the US just started. So that's why it's an hour earlier for you guys in the UK. Or if you're in Europe, I guess, as well. You are still part of the Europe at the moment, aren't you? Or you haven't left yet in the UK? I can't keep up with what's going on with you leaving the EU. You could get used to this, could you? No, oh, you're out now. Ah, so you are actually officially out of the European Union. How do you guys feel about that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I always end up moving these books when I don't mean to. Move it up, move it up, move it up, move it up. Push it down, move it up, push it down. There we go. I just want to pull it forward a little bit. So you're out of the EU. Wow. After all that time. You've still been going to the gym. How did your date go, by the way, Legmon? Smurfberry says, that's an interesting reading selection you've got there, Phil. Arcane magic for dummies, how to summon the old ones for dummies, cleaning a cauldron for dummies. I should put something like that in, that'd be very funny. Legmog says, 31st of January at midnight was the Brexit. Although I never thought I'd say this with all the unending news about coronavirus 24/7, I actually miss the old days of 24/7 non-stop Brexit news. Well, it is. It's wall-to-wall corona now. Whenever you turn the news on, that's all you hear about. That or the election, because I think, don't the Democrats have some pre-election thing going on at the moment today? They're voting in some state in the US, I think. Smurfberry says, is this Eye of Newt for dummies? We can make fun of those for dummies books, but they can be quite useful, you know. They sound like, you know, something if you know what you're doing, you wouldn't buy, but they actually have a lot of interesting info that can be really useful, even for someone that knows a lot of stuff about, say, programming or whatever the For Dummies book is. They're not as bad as people think. Smurfberry's Legmog says, and yes, I've done online dating since 2013, and in all those years of dates, Legmog may have just had the best date ever. That's excellent news, Legmog. So you found one you like, finally. You finally found one you like. That's good, Legmog. I hope it all works out and I hope it goes well. Take it easy. Take it slow. There's no rush. Smurfberry says, I had Python for Dummies sitting around here somewhere. Yeah, that's what I mean. These for Dummies books can be really, really helpful. They got some really good info in them. Good shortcuts and good tips and all that sort of stuff that, say, programming as an example that you might easily forget, because there's always stuff you forget. Just having it all in a book like one of those for Dummies books is really helpful. Smurfberry says I should actually read it one of these days. You should. Don't buy books you don't read. That's not cool. You're as bad as a friend of mine. He's a software engineer and he has got so many books that he ends up buying that he never ends up reading. And I say to him, why are you buying books you don't read? And he says, I use them for reference. They're there if I need them, all that sort of stuff, which I guess is true. Smurfberry says, actually, where the hell did I put it? So you need a bookcase like we're working on here, Smurf. Legmog says, the girl walked in and my first thought was, holy smokes, she really undersold herself in her pictures. Well, that's a good sign. She was absolutely gorgeous to my eyes. Then the bants, I'm assuming you mean banter, was top notch all night. That's good to hear. Well, it's good when you meet someone that you get along with and that you can click with. So I'm happy for you, Legmog, and I do hope it works out, but just take it slow, you know. No need to rush into these things. You like her, that's good. Hopefully she likes you. That would help. Take it nice and slow. Smurfberry says, wait, crap, it's Arduino for dummies. Well, that's all right. Legmog says, Bants, shorthand for banter. Yes, I thought so. Phil's not completely stupid. Not completely. Mostly, but not completely. Okay, so we're going to leave a gap there so for one of these books that the player can pick up and inspect. We want to fill up down here, so before I do that, I'm just going to make sure that this book is grouped to that so that when the bookcase moves, it actually moves with it. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to compile and save this, and I'm going to remove the books that are actually in there. Otherwise, we're going to start getting double ups, and I'm going to get confused. Because we all know it doesn't take much to confuse Phil. So let's delete that one. Oh, let me just go into play mode to turn this music off for a minute. It's the main menu music that plays when just the first time you delete something. I've got no idea why. No idea. The main menu's not even loaded. So I don't know. Oh, and I forgot this. Actually, it's reversed in the blueprint. So that book that we I said I wanted the player to take is on this side of the bookcase. Now, these two doors on this side of the bookcase cannot be opened. I've locked them. They're going to stay locked throughout the entire game. All the others can be opened, but not these two doors on this side. I've done that because the player has to grab the bookcase here to open the door. And it will get really frustrating for the player if they accidentally move their cursor here to open the door and they end up opening these doors here. So I've locked them just to save the player that frustration. That way when they grab here, they won't accidentally open the doors. Smurpery says, How to Escape a House in the Hollow for Dummies. Actually, that'd be a really good book to put in there. That actually is a good idea, I think. I think that could be funny. How to Escape the House in the Hollow for Dummies. I like that. I like that idea, Smurf. Legmog says, but yeah, this is the only date I've ever been on where coming out of it, I'm thinking, wow, this might actually be a thing. Well, that's cool. And like I said, I am really happy for you. What sort of feedback did you get from her? Does she like you? Because it goes both ways, of course. She has to like you as well. Why wouldn't she like you, though, Legmog? Let's be honest. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to move these books to the other side because that side of the bookcase they can't open. And we want it to be that way, I think. Smurpery says, but be careful though, they own the, oh yeah, that's true, they own the trademark for the for dummies, so you might have to make it a parody name, like How to Escape a House in the Hollow for Dunces or something. That's a good point, Smurpery, actually, I hadn't thought of that. They do, yeah, I do remember them saying that they trademarked the for dummies thing. Maybe we'll just have a book that says How to Escape the House in the Hollow. That could still be funny. We'll drop the 4 dummies completely. But I think having a book that says How to Escape the House in the Hollow would be funny. Legmog says, yes, we shared a cheeky little kiss at the end and probably infected each other with coronavirus. She messaged me later saying, I have so much fun. Oh, so I had so much fun. Thank you for the great time. And we said we'll sort out a date number 2 soon. Well, that's great. You must be over the moon. I know what it's like when you meet someone for the first time that you really like, and it's an exciting time. Good to be alive. Make sure you stay that way. Not too much of this kissing here with the coronavirus going around. Because that's a surefire way to get it. It's as bad as licking like posts or licking tram posts and all that sort of stuff. You know, you don't want to do that sort of thing. That's bad. But yeah, I'm really happy for you. I think that's great. Great news. Good to hear. Smurfberry says, Phil flashback to Candy raving in a warehouse with chicks and furry leggings and not much else. Oh, you know me too well, Smurfberry. You know my bad old days. Yes, Phil Phil used to hang out in warehouses listening to techno. I was a big techno junkie back in the day. And yes, there were lots of girls in furry leggings. There were lots of boys in furry leggings as well. So I'm just trying to see if I've got any books here that I need to remove. I think the ones down the bottom need to be removed. Before I continue on, I'm just going to go into unlit mode here because I'm finding it a bit hard to see what I'm doing. There we go. So that one can go, and that one has to go, and not that one. I think one of these might have to go as well. Yeah, this one has to go. Do I have 2 bunches in there? I certainly do. And that one has to go. Alright. So 2 up the top, 1 in the middle, and 1 down the bottom. Two up the top, 1 in the middle, 1 down the bottom. Good. We're good. Legmug says, bet there were a few gate crashes in the form of law enforcement ruining the fun of some of those. There were occasionally, but I used to go to a lot of underground raves, so they weren't actually widely advertised. So the police never really knew about a lot of them that I used to head out to, because they'd set them up in the middle of nowhere, like an abandoned warehouse in some industrial suburb that had never been used for like 10 years. Those sort of places. So it was always a bit of a feat to even find the places to go to the raid. So occasionally you might get raided, but generally not, because they weren't well known. They were still big. The raves I used to go to, you probably have, I don't know, 1,000 to 1,500 people at them. They were quite large. But because they were held in all of these out of the way places. And every raid was always moved to a different location. It was hard for the police to raid them. Not impossible, but hard. Oh, those were the days. I remember going into work once after I'd gone to a rave. I got to the rave at like midnight. I partied all night long. I was supposed to start work at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I just kept partying all the way through until 8:30, and then half an hour to get to work, and then man was I dead at work. It was terrible. And I used to do that all the time. I'm amazed they didn't sack me. It was an experience. Lake Mark says, yes, one of the weirdest nights of my life was going to one of those. I was following a one-van convoy, and the van, that's how they do it, and the van driver got lost in the middle of nowhere, like 3 hours into the journey. We literally were driving through forests and entering abandoned warehouses. Yeah, that's it. They either put them in the middle of a forest somewhere or on a farm somewhere out in the open, in the middle of nowhere, or they put them in a warehouse that's been condemned and closed for 10 years in some industrial suburb. Or I once went to one that was in an abandoned train station here in Melbourne. Yeah, they were quite creative in the different places that they found to actually put these raves on. I didn't even know if they had permission to actually do it from whoever owned the building. I mean, these buildings were, like I said, almost condemned and ready to fall down anyway, so they were filthy. But so I don't know how they would have even found the people to ask if they could have put the rave on in this building. That wasn't my concern. I didn't care about that sort of stuff. I was just there to party and to have fun. Okay, so we need 2 lots of books for here. I might duplicate. Yeah. See, now the problem you find when you when you start setting up a blueprint like this, you can't transform on an axis. I'm pretty sure you can't. Yeah, you can't right click, so there's no way to transform an object on its axis like we did with the other books. So just to make them less noticeable that we're repeating the books, we were transforming on the X to flip them around. You can't do that when you're working inside a blueprint like this. So we have to be a bit more careful about adding books so that the player doesn't notice that they're being repeated. Yes, no, they did not have permission. I'm pretty sure, Legmog, I'm pretty sure they did not have permission to put these parties on in these warehouses. Legmog says, can imagine some of the buildings were so old that the vibrations, well, that was always a problem, of the sound system could actually make it come collapsing down. That was always in the back of my mind, because you know how loud it gets when you go to a rave or a party or any sort of party. They set up huge speakers and they put them full volume, and you get people dancing right in front of these speakers, and these speakers could be like twice as tall as me. They're huge, and people are standing right in front of them and dancing away. I mean, I didn't do that because I consider my hearing a bit too important to destroy. But yeah, some people used to. I used to think to myself, man, you're going to go deaf. You are going to go deaf. Let's pull this pile in. Techmark says, yes, those people were probably deaf for the next 3 weeks. Yeah, well, look, I'm one of those people that really likes to listen to music on my mobile phone through headphones, through earplugs. I like to have my music quite loud that way because I like to drown out the rest of the world. But there's no way I'd stand, 2 feet away from a speaker that's like 12 feet tall and 6 feet wide. That's just asking for trouble. Asking for trouble. Smurfberry says, hearing damage is permanent, yo, that's right. And you'll end up needing robot ears, you will. You will. Hearing's important. We need to be able to hear in our lives. It's very important. Legmark says, have those massive gramophone things attached to your ears. We're actually going to be putting a gramophone in the study, which is the next room we're going to work on after this bedroom's done. So I have actually created a gramophone that we will be texturing up, UV mapping and texturing up in Substance Painter. Because I'm trying to work out a puzzle for the gramophone. Something like you play a record and it triggers something in the level, that sort of thing. I thought it might be cool. Cool. Sniper Girl, it's good to see you, Sniper Girl. How are you? I'm doing really well. How are you going there, Sniper Girl? I was asking everyone yesterday if they could buy toilet paper because we can't buy it in this country for love nor money. People are going nuts because of the coronavirus thing and buying up all of the toilet paper. All of the toilet paper. So inconsiderate. Can't buy no toilet paper. I hope you're doing well there, Sniper Girl. Android Lust, it's good to see you as well, Android Lust. How are you? Sniper Girl says, doing well, playing D&D tomorrow at work. Oh, cool. Yep, no, I'm doing well as well. Yep. Got sent away last week for work, as you guys know. Managed to stay, so far at least, coronavirus free. I don't think I caught anything on the plane. I think I'm okay. Hopefully I'm okay. So yeah, no, health-wise I feel good. Except I can't buy any toilet paper. Android Lust, you're doing great. Good to hear. Sniper Girl says, have a team that meets every other week to play D&D. Cool. Like good old Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody likes a bit of D&D. Okay, let us group this one. Let us pull in... let's pull in these slanty books. Slanted books. Geez, that was almost a faux pas, wasn't it? Sniper Girl, thank you for the sub. You are awesome, Sniper Girl. Thank you very much for subbing to the channel and the 16-month subscription it says here in front of me. You are awesome. Thanks, Sniper Girl. I do appreciate it when you guys and girls sub to my channel. Sniper Girl says, toilet paper is overrated. Use your sleeves. Oh, yuck. You're nasty. Oh. I was telling everyone yesterday, use leaves. Just go out into the garden and get some leaves. But Legmog, he says he uses banana peel skins. Banana peels. That's what he wipes his bottom with because he can't buy any toilet paper. My suggestion was leaves. I was told to buy a bidet as a solution, which seems a bit drastic just because people are being greedy and taking all the toilet paper, but all the good suggestions. I was just saying, it's just madness, though. Madness. What is wrong with people? I don't get the whole toilet paper thing. It's just weird. People stocking up on toilet paper. They must be buying 6 months worth because as soon as they put out on the shelves, they disappear. There is none. The shelves are empty. Sniper Girl says, no clue why it didn't do it automatically. No, whatever. But your sleeves are right there. You don't need to go anywhere. The smell, Sniper Girl. The smell would be unbearable. No, that's nasty. Yuck. Ooh. Smokeberry says this is why we can't bring our dates here, Phil. That's exactly right. This is why you should never bring a date onto my stream because of my viewers. No, because of Phil. No, yes, all of the above. We end up talking about toilet paper and wiping our sleeve, using our sleeves to wipe ourselves. Sniper Girl says, yeah, stocking up on toilet paper it is odd. It's weird. It is weird. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Look, I know people are freaking out a bit, but what are they going to do with all that toilet paper? I really do not understand. Just going to... That's better. It was just grouped to the wrong thing. I mean, it would have been okay. Those books were grouped to those books, which would have been fine, but I like to keep everything nice and clean, group it all to the main object here. Yeah, I don't get the whole toilet paper thing. Android Lust says sleeves are reusable. That's true. You can wash your sleeves and go at it again, I guess. That's true. But there's so many leaves in the world. I think leaves, get back to nature, be a bit more natural. Leaves are better. Sniper Girl says maybe try to order toilet paper online. Maybe I haven't tried that yet. The last 2 weeks because I do a shop weekly. I go shopping weekly for groceries. The last 2 weeks, there's been no toilet paper to buy. The shelves have been completely bare. I have enough to last me for another few weeks, but if things start to get desperate, then I'll try ordering online. It's the only option I'm going to have. And it's amusing because the government come out here saying, supplies are fine, there's plenty of toilet paper to go around. Well, you can't buy any for love nor money, so I don't know where these government people think that there's all this toilet paper just lying around for people to buy, because I can't find it. A Sniper Girl says to Smurfberry, I promise I'll behave honest. Sure. Sniper Girl says, me either. I mean, according to the CDC, if you get the coronavirus, a person should quarantine themselves for 2 weeks. That's right. You don't need to raid toilet paper from a store. No, you don't. You don't need 6 months worth of toilet paper. If you do get it and you do have to quarantine yourself, you only have to do it for 14 days. After 14 days, you should be fine. You don't need 6 months worth of toilet paper, people. It's actually quite bad. What is bad is the fact that people hoard because they panic. That's not good. The people are panicking and they're hoarding. The other thing that's a little bit concerning for me at the moment with a lot of people that maybe work casually. There's been a big discussion in this country about casual workers because casual workers don't get sick pay. And they've been saying, well, what happens to these people who are casual workers? Through no fault of their own, they can only get casual work. If they've got to quarantine themselves for 2 weeks, they're going to have no income. Now, if you're a casual worker, you're generally not swimming in money to begin with. So not being able to work for 2 weeks, not having any income, how are they supposed to survive? So yeah, that's a bit of a concern, and I think that's an issue that that governments really need to look at. Sniper Girl says, "Oh, you won't believe this one. Finally got Windows. You finally got Windows 10. Seriously, Sniper Girl. Wow. Welcome to the 21st century." What do you think of it? Sniper Girl says, "I'm honestly worried about the coronavirus. I ride the bus to work and back. Any person could get it, spread it." Yep. Well, that's true, but you can't live your life in fear. And I know that the coronavirus is a scary thing. It's killing a lot of people, which isn't good. But you can't live your life in fear. You can't think, "Oh, what if? You never leave the house if that's the case. And you guys, you're not in the high risk age group anyway. It's most dangerous for older people, like we're talking over 60. That's the high risk group. So if you've got a pre-existing medical condition, or you're in one of those older age groups, they're at higher risk. Now, I'm not saying younger people can't die from it, because they have. But generally, the most people at risk are the ones that are a bit older. So don't freak out about it. You've got no control over it. You know, it's pointless to worry about something you have no control over. All you end up doing is making yourself sick, through worry. You can't control it. So be aware, but don't be alarmed. Isn't that the saying that they say for terrorism? Be aware, but don't be alarmed. So yeah, keep it in mind, but don't let it rule your life. Because it concerns me as well. I mean, they send me interstate and stuff all the time. And last week I was on a plane, and planes are one of the places. Planes and cruise ships. Don't go on a plane or a cruise ship unless you have to. That would be my advice to anyone. So yeah, I was a bit worried about it getting on the plane, but I had no choice. I had to do it for work. Just because Phil's scared doesn't give Phil the right to say no. Sniper Girl says, "Had the superior Windows 7, got 10 only because 7 is no longer updated." That's right. If you're a Windows 7 user still, you should really think about upgrading to Windows 10, because Windows 7 is getting no more security updates. And in this day and age, you need those security updates because of all the nasty people in the world trying to break into your machine or infect your machine. I'm just scaling these in so that my angled books here fit. Scaling them in is good too anyway, because it makes the books look a little different from all the others on all the other shelves, and people won't notice we're copying and pasting so much. And we will turn them into hardware instances, but I don't do that till the end of the game, until the actual design is completed inside of the building, because once you turn a model into a hardware instance, unless you get it to save the old version and keep it hidden, which I generally don't do because it starts to fill up the browser here too much, you can't go back. So do that last. Okay, let's group that to the main object. Okay, one more lot of books to go here. We might cheat, I think, and just go with, okay. I think these books might be a bit high. I need to bring them down. I'm wondering why they're sticking up so much higher than all the rest of them. That's better. Snowberry says, yeah, sucks for anyone who uses public transit to commute. Yep. You just wash your hands regularly, guys. Don't touch your face so much, and wash your hands a lot. Wash your hands before you eat. Wash your hands when you get home. Just keep washing your hands. and try and avoid touching your face, and you should be fine. I mean, it is an airborne virus apparently, so if people are coughing around you or sneezing around you, there's not much you can do. You're going to probably get it that way. But you can reduce the risk, as they say, by washing your hands regularly. Just soap and water is fine. Hand sanitizer is good, but soap and water is fine because you can't buy hand sanitizer in this country. Look, these are things you can't buy. Phil's going to go on a tirade again. You can't buy toilet paper. You can't buy hand sanitizer. You can't buy white rice, and you can't buy white sugar. So sugar, rice, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer are completely out of stock in every supermarket in this country. Sniper Girl says, honestly, now that I fixed it, I like it. By default, text and menus and stuff are blurry on 4K screens. I had to increase the DPI of the text. I didn't find that. You guys know I use 2 4K screens. And are you doing any scaling, though? I don't scale. I leave it at 100%. I don't go above 100. I don't. So maybe if you're scaling above 100%. So I know that some people that use 4K screens scale to 120%, so maybe that's why your text got a bit blurry. But yeah, I haven't found haven't had to mess with that in Windows 10. The text is crisp, but I don't do any scaling, so that's why I need the glasses. Sniper Girl says, also I got classic start menu and ditched whatever the hell it came with. I actually quite like Windows start menu. I think the start menu is fine. I quite like this. You're too old school, Sniper Girl. Too old school. Smurpery says, Ultimate Windows Tweaker will save your life. And Smurpery says, just make sure you get the version that works with Windows 10. I haven't heard about that. I'll check that out. Sniper Girl says, well, look it up, so will I. Sniper Girl says, the good thing is that Windows 10 Pro was free for me to upgrade to. Means I had Windows 7 Pro. Yep. I used to have Windows 7 Ultimate and I upgraded to 10 for free on all my machines, except one of my notebook. My notebook won't update to Windows 10. Every time I try it, craps out. It's a Dell. That's the reason probably. It's a Dell notebook. Yeah, it won't update to Windows 10. It's stuck on Windows 7, but I don't use it very much, so that's okay. All my other machines are Windows 10. I like Windows 10, it's good. I like Windows 7, but I like Windows 10 more. And now you can play DirectX 12 games, Sniper Girl, because Windows 10 is the only one that's DirectX 12 capable. Windows 7 wasn't. So all those new games coming out, you'll be able to play. Sniper Girl says to Smurpery, not going to lie, thinking of getting some of those medical masks for the bus use. That you do know that they say that those masks are really meant for people that have the virus so that they don't spread it to other people. They don't actually protect you from other people. At least that's what they've been saying in the news, whether you believe them or not. The masks are really good to stop the spread if you were infected, but not good to stop getting it from other people to protect yourself. There's only one mask, I believe, that can do that. That's the proper medical mask, and I can't remember the name of it. But it's the one that the actual doctors use. So if you can get hold of one of them, yep, you might be good. And listen, if it makes you feel better, that's the most important thing. If you're wearing the mask makes you feel better, then I say wear a mask. Android Lost says hand sanitizer if you can find some. Yep, I managed to get some, but it really was a chore. I had to go around to a lot of. I couldn't. None of the supermarkets. I had to go to chemists to find some to buy hand sanitizer. Mowbray says, nah, just get one of those Etsy artists to make you a raver cyber goth gas mask. You can't use those masks forever. I'm talking about the reusable ones, probably not the cyber goth gas mask. You'll probably use that for a while. Sniper Girl says it was set to 300% by default. I switched it to 100. Yeah, 300%, man, the text must have been huge, even on a 4K screen. Yeah, I work on 100%. I don't use scaling at all in Windows 10 on the 4K screens. So long as the screen is large enough, you don't need to reduce it on 4K. If it's a smaller screen, like say 27 inches, then maybe you want to scale it up to 120% so the text isn't too tiny for you to read. but I don't do that on my screens. That and the fact too, some programs can have a problem with scaling. If you start messing with the scaling in Windows, even though it's gotten a lot better, some software, older software, can have a problem if it's not at 100%, if it's above 100%. And as Sniper Girl says, it can actually make the text look a bit blurry as well. Sniper Girl says, oh, it's a Dell piece of shit. Yes, well, the Dell are rubbish. Do not buy Dell. Do not buy an off-the-shelf PC. I mean, maybe Alienware if you really want to go brand name, but even then I wouldn't. I like to make my PCs. I mean, if you're buying a notebook, then that's different. You've got no choice. You can't really make a notebook. You've got to buy a brand name. But if you're making a desktop PC, don't buy a Dell or any of those. Make it yourself. It's not hard. It's fun. Buy the parts and put it together yourself. Get a friend if you don't know much about it, or you can actually go on forums. There's heaps of forums around, Overclockers Club and all that sort of stuff. They'll give you heaps of advice on what to buy if you're not sure. And they'll help you out if you get stuck while you're trying to put it together, but it's not hard. Sniper Girl says, yeah, forgot about DirectX 12. That's right. That's going to be the next big thing with the new consoles coming out at the end of the year, provided the manufacturing process starts back up again. Because that's the problem with computer hardware at the moment. It's getting more expensive because manufacturing closed down in China. So a lot of people are having problems finding hardware to buy. So he fills a gas bag and talks too much and can't breathe. Sniper Girl says, how the hell would it only work one way? Well, that's what they say. I don't know. Apparently, that's what they say. I don't know. I'm not a medical expert. I don't pretend to be one. That's just what I've heard. Now, maybe they're saying that so people don't do a run on masks. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, if it makes you feel better, then go for it, I say. But I agree. It does. I don't know. I don't understand these things. That's what they say. That's what they say. You know. Android Lust says, beats me, Sniper Girl, but I heard the same thing. Yeah, I agree. It does sound weird, but that's what they've been saying. Sniper Girl says, oh my god, icons were freaking huge on 300%. Looked like I had 8:6 resolution. Defeated the purpose of having a 4K screen. Well, that's the other thing, of course, too, because the higher you put up the scaling, the bigger everything gets. So, you know, why buy a 4K screen if you're going to lose half of your real estate because the icons are going to be huge? That's my reasoning for not doing it. Okay, I need a book pile. I need one more book pile for here. Going to leave the gap there for the books that people can pick up. A book that people can pick up. Not the main book, not the Magus book that you've got to find in the game. That's going to be well hidden somewhere else. These are just going to be fun little books you can pick up. Because Smurfberry's suggestion was I have a book called How to Escape the House in the Hollow, and I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to put one of those in. Smurfberry says, I had to do a bunch of tweaks directly in the registry to get the icons and the grid spacing the way I wanted. I've never had to do that. Maybe I'm just more easily pleased than you, Smurfberry. I have had to hit the registry for other stuff, but not for that sort of thing. Smurfberry says, and a bunch of other registry tweaks for that matter. Yeah, no, I've done some reg tweaks as well, but I've never for visual stuff. Generally, Windows has worked well by default. Sniper Girl says we'll probably do the same thing. Yeah, so if you do buy a 4K screen, be aware of that, because I think by default Windows tries to make you use 120% for some strange reason. So I always switch it back to 100%. Now, what book pile will I put there? Let's go for something a little different. Let's go for a book pile on the side. I don't think we've used this little pile on the side very much like that, so let's do one of them. Because why not? Why not, I say. So we want a side book pile. We want to scale it up. Keeping an eye on my requests thing there. Actually, I have to come up with ideas for more requests for you guys. You know, so you can use your channel points and all that sort of stuff. I need to come up with some ideas for some new requests. Let's just rotate these around a little bit so they don't look quite so... So that was a little bit more interesting. Every time I move it by mistake, every time. As sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, Phil will move his object by mistake. I'm actually just thinking these book piles might be a little large. Wow. Might be a little large for this, yeah. Let's scale it back a bit. And if it doesn't work well when I scale it back, I might just remove them. I don't want to do a non-uniform scale. Smokeberry says changing the way the mouse behaves with windows at the corners and edges between two monitors. Oh yeah, I believe I had to do that as well, Smokeberry. Yeah, I remember something. You can't see me doing it, but I'm sort of moving my mouse between my two screens over on the right hand side here. Yeah, it used to catch, I think, from memory on the corner of the first monitor. And you used to have to move it again to move it to the second one. So yeah, I had to change that so it was nice and smooth. I remember doing that too. Sniper Girl says, I know a request, Phil, design stuff but not talk at all stream. Oh no, the 5-minute not talking is hard enough for me. I know a lot of art streamers probably do have as their as one of their rewards to design something for their viewers. Now, and I did think about doing that, but I really don't have the time. I'd love to be able to, for you guys. I'd love to, to say, oh, yep, use your rewards and I'll design something of your choosing. But because of my workload, I can't do it. I don't know about these books on the side. Maybe if I get another pile beside it, I'll like it better. So let's see if we can get a little pile in there. Maybe. I don't know about that. Maybe. Yeah, let's get another little pile going. Another little pile. You see it's jumped to the same spot as this one's because it's grouped to the previous book pile, which is not what we want. So I'm just going to ungroup that. I'm also going to ungroup that. Let's rotate this one around. What did you just post in Smokeberry and Discord? What's going on here? Windows registered. Oh, he's popped it in the Discord. Cool. So that's for Sniper Girl, I'm assuming. Maybe if we scale these back a little bit more, maybe I'll like it better then. Maybe. Except to make sure our books aren't intersecting each other. Let's bring this book pile forward a little bit. I'm just looking for an interesting grouping. I'm going to compile, save, and we're going to jump into play and editor so I can see what the grouping looks like a bit more easily. So let's go back. Actually, I don't need to turn lit mode on. As soon as I start playing, it'll turn it on for me anyway. That's a gap so that we can use an put an interactive book in there. This side can't be opened, it's locked. For the reason I explained before about so that the player doesn't get annoyed when they try and open the bookcase door and accidentally hit that door and open it up. So let's check our books out. So a gap there for one that we can interact with, a gap there for one we can interact with, a gap there for one we can interact with, a gap there for one we can interact with, and I think there might be a gap there as well. I don't think I have that many interactable books, so I might need to fill that up at a later date when I'm actually setting up putting the actual interactive books in there. We'll come to that. We'll solve that problem when we come to it. Now let's see if we can open our bookcase without our books staying behind. Oh, I think we're good. I don't think, yes, we can get in there. That's a good sign. Cool. And of course we can still open our other cupboards while the bookcase is open as well. Got to test these things to make sure everything's behaving the way it's supposed to be. Sniper Girl says to Smurpery, how hard was it to do? Noticed it gets caught in the corners of the screen. Yeah, that's why I had to do it as well when jumping over. Smurpery says, unfortunately, I don't think you can fully get rid of the behaviour, but you can reduce the severity a bit. It doesn't happen to me. I can't do it because I'm in the game. I don't notice it at all. Once I made those registry tweaks, it doesn't catch at all for me. But I use display fusion as well, so maybe it's a setting in display fusion I turned on that's helped. I can't remember. Because I did it so long ago. Make everybody sick. I'm going to make everybody sick. Spin around the room. Android Lust says, designing for viewers seems easier for 2D artists. Yeah, I think so too, because as a 3D artist it would take me a bit longer to create something for a viewer than it would one of those guys that do 2D stuff. I would love to, like I said, but yeah, my workload's just too much at the moment. I couldn't do it. And I'm not one of those streamers that gets up and does a little dance for you as a reward either. I'm not a performing monkey. I know a lot of Twitch streamers tend to want to be performing monkeys, but I'm not one of them, I'm afraid. Let's just do a quick save all here so that we don't lose what we've done. Sniper Girl says, LOL, Republicans in the US complain about voter fraud. Irony, just recently a woman in Florida was changing people to Republican when they registered. Really? That isn't that against the law? She should go to jail. I know that they've made it harder as well now that the Republicans have been in power to actually vote. I remember seeing news reports saying that they've made it much more difficult for people to even be able to vote. That is criminal. I mean, look, they're not alone. The government, Liberal government in this country, they try the same sort of stuff as well. Even though it's mandatory to vote in this country, they try and rejig the borders so that they get more votes in one district and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, trying to stop people from being able to vote easily is criminal. It is just criminal. Those people, those politicians should be ashamed of themselves. And this woman should be ashamed of herself as well. I think that's disgraceful. You know, that's your right as a citizen to cast your vote for the person that you want, whether that's Republican or Democrat if you're in the US, or whether that's Labor or Liberal if you're in Australia. You have that right. And for someone to try and take that away from you, I think stinks. Android Lost says, speaking of voting, we've had some train wrecks running for president. Bloomberg. Yeah, he didn't last very long, did he? I thought that was very funny. He tried to buy his way into the election, into the Democratic election. Mr. Bloomberg. Billionaire Mr. Bloomberg. Wasn't he best friends with Mr. Trump as well at some stage until they had a falling out? And he thought he could spend, he spent like half a billion dollars or something, 500 million, buying ads and stuff, trying to get the Democratic nomination to run for president. Think of all the good $500 million could have done for your country, guys. I'm talking US here. Well, you know, feeding the homeless, helping kids get to school. You know, so much good could have been done with $500 million. And he sort of pissed it up against the wall, trying to buy his way into the Democratic election. So, sorry, Mr. Bloomberg, you get no respect from me. I think it's pretty bad. I think what you did was pretty bad. You did not use your money wisely. Sniper Girl says, yeah, she was charged with 10 different counts. Suspects that she changed up to 100 people. Well, I'm glad she was charged, because that's criminal and wrong. Wrong on so many levels. It's not funny. Android Lost says, sadly, it seems like America doesn't care about the homeless. Yeah, well, look, it's the same in this country. We've got homeless in Australia as well, and quite a few of them. And there are a lot of people that live just above the poverty line as well. Like they're casual workers, so they do work, but their wage is really low, and they're borderline, you know, they could be homeless any minute sort of thing if they don't get a paycheck, which is what makes the coronavirus thing a bit of a worry, because those people can't afford to lock themselves up for 2 weeks. They just can't afford to. They live paycheck to paycheck, like a lot of people do. So yeah, it's not just America. I'm not just targeting a US for homelessness, because we've got it in Australia as well, and it's terrible. It's really terrible. Sniper Girl says to Android Lust, yeah, we don't. Same for homeless vets. Yeah, it's I hope you do get public health cover in the US, so I think that'll be good for you, because we have it, like I said yesterday, here in Australia. It works really well for us. That is public health cover. You can have either private or public in this country. If you want to pay for it, you can. They don't stop you from doing it. But we do have public health cover as well, which is free for everyone. And we've always had it, and it works really well. So I hope you get it in the US, because a lot of people can't afford health care, and that's not right. You know, you're an incredibly wealthy country, the USA. There is no reason why you can't have public health cover for all your citizens, not just for the mega wealthy that can afford it. That's another thing that really I think is terrible. You need public health cover. You need to protect those vulnerable people that can't afford health cover. You're a first world country, a rich first world country. There's no excuse not to do it. except, the large insurance companies that don't want to lose any revenue. That's why they don't want it. That's why they lobby your politicians not to introduce it. And they try it on in this country too. The current, the Liberal government, which are like the Conservative government in the United States, are constantly trying to cut back on public health care. But every time they try, the Australian public kick up such a stink that they go running in the opposite direction. They try, but they know that the Australian public want private health cover. They want that safety net. And every time a politician tries to mess with it, man, do they get taken down. In this country, they do. Sniper Girl says, same. I honestly think we'll see Trump again. God, I hope not. Too many damn boomers will vote for Biden, and young voters like me refuse to vote for him in the election. Well, I don't know. Mr. Trump looks worried because the economy, not the economy, the stock market went down dramatically yesterday. It went up today a bit. But Mr. Trump's built his whole election campaign based around your economy and the market, the stock market. And now the coronavirus and the oil price is falling through the floor, then I think he's a bit worried. And that's what will get people not to vote for him if your economy starts to go bad. It's the same in this country. We behave the same way. If our economy starts to go bad, we punish the politician in charge. Android Lost says, I think we'll see Trump again too. Look, I think you might be right. I'm not saying you're not. Thankfully, I don't have to live in your country, so I don't have to care. I just have to care about the drop kick in this country, who's our Prime Minister. Sniper Girl says, and honestly, as a bet, that is against the wars in the Middle East and can't vote for anyone that wants to continue them. So as a bet that is against the wars in the Middle East, you can't vote for anyone that wants to continue. Do they want to continue those wars? I thought you guys were pulling out of the Middle East. I thought that, well, Mr. Trump, I think, isn't he taking all your troops out of the Middle East? Haven't you just signed some agreement with the Taliban and all that sort of stuff? Better the devil you know, I guess. Sniper Girl says, yeah, there's no expiration date. Oh, okay. Yes, she said he will, but yeah. Okay, he said he will, but he hasn't done it yet. Okay. Let's put a little light up here on this. It's a desk, actually. I don't know what its proper furniture name is. It's Biedermeier style. I know that from my ArchBiz. It's a desk because you can pull this little thing out here, but I'm not sure exactly what its true name is. I think it's just called a desk, I think. Let's copy one of these light fittings. Now, your idea, I just wanted to say, Sniper Girl, your idea to put one of these candles in her hand was a wonderful idea. But after the stream, I looked at it and I thought that this model didn't really fit properly, didn't look right. So what I did was I created another candle holder that fits her hand a bit better. So I kept your idea, but just changed it to a mesh that was a better fit for her holding it. Sniper Girl says, just like he removed soldiers from Syria, only to move them to Saudi Arabia to protect the oil fields. Sniper Girl says, nice, love the candle. Yeah, I did too. I like your idea. I thought it was really, let's get rid of these game icons so we can see it. I like the idea. I thought it was a really cool idea. But yeah, this candle holder just didn't fit her hand properly. So I just remade the candle holder into something that looked more appropriate for something she might hold. But let's put a candle in here, and we'll just use one of these ones here. So let's copy this one. So I think a candle in that little pigeonhole there could look cool. We can get some nice shadows happening. Maybe not. I've got to push it back so it doesn't float in the air. We can still get some nice shadows happening. Make sure it's down on the ground and not floating in the air. Yeah, I can either put it in the pigeonhole or I can put it on the lip. We might put it in the pigeonhole. Might look more interesting. Just helps to highlight the desk a little bit. Okay. Sniper Girl says Unreal hotkey for duplicate. Yeah, I know. Hold the Alt key. I know it is, and then click one of the. Yeah, I'm aware of the shortcut. I said to you guys last week, I don't use shortcuts when I work on stream simply because I don't want people not to know what I'm doing. But I am aware. You hold the Alt key and move, and that'll duplicate. You don't have to right click. I only do it just for the benefit of people watching the stream. That's why I don't use shortcuts when I work in Macs and stuff as well, because even though I do when I'm not streaming, just because people tend to get lost, they don't understand how I've done something. I mean, I could say hold the Alt key. I'm going to hold the Alt key and move. I could do that. But I just find I think it's a bit easier for people to understand if I go right click, edit, duplicate. Easier for them to follow what I'm doing. But yes, the Alt key is the shortcut. You are correct. Sniper Girl says, I'm going to duplicate this. I think people will know what you're doing. Oh, maybe. Like I said, I could say I'm holding the Alt key down and I'm duplicating. That's another option, yes. Android Lost says, it's hard to use, not to use shortcuts. I feel dumb looking for the non-shortcut way. No, look, shortcuts are the best way to work. I mean, they're shortcuts. They make it quicker for you. I've just tried to avoid doing it while I stream, like I said, because I don't want people to get lost as to what I'm doing. And if you use a lot of shortcuts, well, if you're streaming to people and you're showing them while you're yourself working, but you're using shortcuts on you're using keyboard shortcuts, they're not going to know how you did what you did sometimes. So, yeah. But I do use shortcuts. I just don't use them while I'm streaming. Now the light fittings, let's look at those, because we need to turn these into physics objects. At the moment they're movable, but they're not a physics object, they're completely stationary. So, first thing I'm going to do is simulate physics. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go outside the room. I'm just going to go into unlit mode. So I want to copy and paste, trying to hide as much as I can. I want to copy and paste this connector. This is just on those blue hanging lights we've got in the hallway. Again, I could hold the Alt key and move, but I'm going to go right click, edit, duplicate. You want to make my life so hard, Sniper Girl, don't you? Leave me work the way I want. And let's move this over into the bedroom. It's still attached to the blue light fitting at the moment, so we're going to have to reattach it in a minute to the right thing. And I'm trying to remember how I did this, because it's been a while since I set up a physics hanging light in the engine, so we'll see how we go. I need to get the bedroom done today because I need to do a rebuild and send off a build to the people I send the builds off to. There's only one company I need to send builds to, and I need to send one to them, so, which I can't talk about because I signed NDAs. Android Lust said it was hard to use, not to use shortcut keys, and Sniper Girl agreed, with the exception of ZBrush. I don't care that program's hotkeys. You need to learn them. As Sniper Girl says, Android Lust says, for ZBrush I just made shortcuts, some that are similar to Maya. Okay, so I think our connector here is in the right spot. We need to regroup it though, so I've got to select the connector. We don't want it to be grouped to the hanging light final 5. We want it to be grouped to our Gothic light. Now, physics can be a bit tricky sometimes. You've got to be careful of collision meshes. Otherwise, if your physics asset starts to spaz out, like it starts going like this, it's generally the collision mesh that's the problem. So we'll find out in a minute whether I've done that correctly or not. Before we test it, let's duplicate it for the other one over here. I don't think there's any other settings I need to change from memory. Sphere 12, is that correct? Sniper Girl says, sorry, realised that I said your trigger word. That's right, you did, the ZBrush word. We don't speak of it. That's the thing we never speak of. On my streams, we never speak of ZBrush. That shall not be named. Let's duplicate these one more time. Again, hold the Alt key down if you want, but I'm going to right click, edit, duplicate. Again, it's still going to be connected to this one, but we'll fix that in 2 seconds. Just got to make sure we're lined up. It doesn't look too bad for me moving it very quickly. I seem to have got it lined up quite well. Now we want to select the hinge, and we want to group it to this light. Okay. Now let's test it. I don't think I'm pretty sure there are no other options I need to change here. I think that was it. I don't think there's anything else. But just make sure that it's actually grouped to the right sphere. Well, that could cause problems. That's sphere 13, and it's grouped to sphere 13, that's good, and Gothic Mesh 12. And this is Gothic Mesh 12, good. And this one, that is sphere 12. And it is grouped sphere 12 and Gothic Light Mesh. Good. Alright, let's test it to see if we have any problems. So I'm just going to move back down here and we'll go play in editor. See what I mean? That's a collision problem. It's interesting this one didn't do it. So let's look at why it did it on one and not on the other. Now what I'm going to start with, I'm going to move this down a little bit so it's not sticking up through the ceiling. I can get into a position where I can see it properly. I'm going to do the same for this one. We'll do another test. We're just going to see if the collision was causing an issue in the ceiling, which it may have been or it may not have been. There's still a slight collision problem. Not so much on this one though, for some strange reason. So I have a feeling the collision problem might be to do with this mesh, so I'm going to have a look at that. This is the ceiling mesh. No, there is no collision on that, so that's not the issue. Let's look at the actual... Let's look at this fitting. It could be the fitting. Okay, now this fitting has collision and it doesn't need collision. Your player is never going to get up near the ceiling. So I'm going to remove the collision on this. Save the asset. Let's test it again now. And now you see that we're not getting that wild swinging. So basically anytime you see a physics asset behaving like that, it's generally the collisions are conflicting. So it's got a collision inside of another collision, and that's causing the physics to freak out. So that's all well and good, but these physics objects are never going to move unless you give them something to make them move. Normally in a game level you'd have a gun, so you'd shoot the gun at the light would start to swing. You're not going to have a gun in this game, so they're never going to move. We want them to move. So we need to make them move. And we're going to use a thruster for that, which is what we used outside here as well. This little thing here, that's the thruster, we're going to duplicate that. Again, hold the Alt key or just right click, edit, duplicate. I just need to find that. I want to make sure it's taken it out of the group. And it hasn't. So I need to make sure it's still grouped to this light. That's not what we want. So I'm just going to make sure it's not in that group. Before I do that, I need to make sure I attach it to the right light fitting. So I need to find my Gothic light. I'm just going to start to close some of these up a bit so it's not so distracting. We don't want the windows, we don't want the carpet ties, ceiling lights, wall lights, curtains, curtain ties, cushions, decorative urns, deco sconces. See, everything's nice and organised. Easy for me to find what I need when I need it usually. We don't want the window columns. Making sure you're organised here will help too when the guys and I still have to put level streaming in the game. So it'll help us when we need to start setting up the level streaming if everything is nice and organised, so we can move it more easily between different levels. So it's always a good idea to make sure you have a nice organised list here, particularly if you want to do level streaming. Top decos, feature columns, door tops, floors, curtains, windows, large columns, large single rails, tassels, light mass portals, I have them all in their own folder as well, main columns, curtains. Sniper Girl says naming convention, need to work on that. Yeah, look, it's something I often don't... It's easy to forget to do. It's something no one really likes to do because it's a bit boring, making sure everything is named correctly, but it's really important, particularly if other people have to work on the project you're working on. But it also really helps with organisation if you do have to, like I said, do level streaming and all that sort of thing. It'll make it much easier for you to transfer assets between different levels. Spruce, elderberry, Hollywood juniper. For some reason too, Unreal, when you open it up, when you reopen your level every time, it opens all of these up. Like I can close them all up, I can save my level, As soon as I reopen it again, they're all expanded again. That's a bit annoying. I wish it wouldn't do that. For some reason, it decides to re-expand all of these folders again. Okay, we'll leave swinging lights because that's where this is. I just need to find my Gothic lights. I have a feeling they're in the bedroom folder. I could be wrong, so let's find them. Where is it? Are they in the bedroom folder? No. So I probably will have to move them to the bedroom folder. But it's all the way down here, Gothic Light Mesh. Okay. Sniper Girl says, my name is Maya Max. My names in Maya Max are all messed up. Sniper Girl says, we have an asset naming wizard that we use to name stuff for in engine before crunching. And those names can be different than the names in Max, so yeah. Android Lost says, I name my OBJ files, but not my save files. My save files are in a named folder, but are named 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, at least you're putting them in separate folders. That you get a gold star for that, Android Lost. But naming them 1, 2, 3, 4, not going to make it easy for you to find what you need quickly when you need it. You guys saw the way I work when I do my model stuff here. I put everything in a separate folder, so all of my models, if we go into my models folder, they're all in their own folder and they're all called what the models are. That just makes it easy for me to go back if I need to make changes, which I have recently had to make a lot of changes. I've been doing a lot of draw core reduction inside of the engine, so I've had to go back through all of these assets and reduce everything from like 7 draw calls to 1. It made that much easier. So yep, you get a gold star for at least putting them in their own folder, Android Lost. So Gothic Light Mesh all the way down the bottom here. Just going to expand this as much as I can to make it easy for me to see what I'm doing. Really would be all the way up the top, wouldn't it? There seems to be no way to actually get this to auto scroll, which is really annoying. And I don't want particularly to group it to something else, but I'm going to have to temporarily. I'm going to be here all day. You can see how high up it is compared to where it actually is down here. I've got to try and close these up as much as I can. I do have folders within folders, so... Sniper Girl says, my exports are usually named mostly for baking purposes, but those can get messed up. Sometimes have final and final one. Well, that's okay. That's okay. You can have final and final one. Not great, but not terrible. Android Lost says, sort by date last modified was my friend during the... Ah, that's a good option. Date last modified. But I need to find this, where did I put it? There it is. What I should do is just pull a new thruster in. It would be much easier than doing a copy and paste, particularly because they're so far apart from each other. So just bringing in a new thruster would have been the better way to go, really. But Phil likes to make life hard for himself, so... We're nearly there. If it would auto scroll when I move down the bottom, that would be the ideal thing. Unreal doesn't seem to be set up to do that. Now where is it? Gothic light here. Here we go. So we're going to group it first of all to the first light. So let's move it in. Just going to bring my browser window back up again. Sniper Girl says, if I'm missing a part, it's name asset missing part. Android Lost says, final and final one are used for my renders. Or test 1 and test 2. Sniper Girl says, I'm guilty with tests. Sniper Girl says, I'm bad with Painter. I normally don't name any of my layers. No, I do, because I create smart materials. So you need to name your layers correctly to create a smart material. Otherwise, you're not going to know what your smart material is. If it's just called test 1, test 2. So now we just need to place this thruster where we want it. Just going to check where it is on this one, about the middle. Just move it down a little bit. Make sure we're actually in a little bit. Sniper Girl says, my logic is only I see my painter files. Android Lust says, there's no point of naming the layers if you don't plan on coming back to the substance file. You do it just to get in a good working habit, because if you ever start working with other people, you can't give them a file that says test 1, test 2, final 1, final 2. They're going to go off their brain. They're not going to be happy. So you create good working habits early, and then it becomes second nature and you won't think about it. And trust me, if at some stage in the future you have to go back to that asset for whatever reason, even if it's just for yourself, and you don't know what it's, well, and if you haven't named it correctly, it's going to be a nightmare. A nightmare. Like I said, I've just done draw call reduction on probably 50 or 60 different assets in this level, and if I hadn't named them correctly, it would have taken me months to find everything. So it's a good practice to get into. We can all be so, like, I know it's tempting to want, you're excited to make stuff, you want to make stuff quickly, so it's tempting just to forget that side of things, but it's really important to do. Sniper Girl says, bad thing is there's a few times where I needed to change revise textures and by myself disable one layer at a time. Android Lust says, I have smart materials with no names because of not naming. I believe it defaults to folder 1 or something. It is terrible, Smokery. I agree. They're terrible. Don't do that, guys. Make sure you name things properly. You really, it'll make your life much easier. I know it's boring. I know you're excited to make your stuff and you don't want to bother with naming stuff correctly, but you really should. Let's group this thruster to the second Gothic mesh, to the second light. Same position, we'll just move it to the front about the middle. Okay, so that thruster is grouped to the second light, that thruster is grouped to the first light, so that should all be good. I don't believe there's anything else we need to do with regard to the thruster. It doesn't need any other settings change, just we might play with the strength if it looks like it's too big. Let's play in editor and see what we get. Let's just get up to one of these lights. Now, I don't know if you can notice it on stream, but it's just slightly swaying. Well, this one doesn't look like it's moving for some reason. I can see this one moving. I don't notice this one moving though. Okay, it's complaining here, so let's see what it's complaining about. Oh, okay, so static mesh, Gothic lights. I forgot to turn on simulate physics. That would help. Let me just get up here so you can see what I'm talking about. I didn't turn the simulate physics on, so that would help. Physics object won't work unless physics is turned on. Let's try that again. And there we go. Hopefully you guys can see the light swaying there. If you look at the shadow on the wall here, you can see the shadow moving. So I'm just going to leave the editor, just going to let it play in the editor for a while, because eventually the light should start to turn. I just want to make sure it does that. Smokery says, I downloaded a material from Substance Share and the damn thing is named folder 2. I'd be complaining. But the stuff from Substance Share is just stuff users have uploaded, so it's probably one of Sniper Girl's projects. Sniper Girl says, don't get me started with smart materials. I've been having an odd error at work where it doesn't show the mesh or the UV map. Still shows that I've had layers, ended up needing to make a smart material, create a new file, and then re-import the mesh, and then apply the smart material to it so that I don't have to retexture. Man, it just sounds like a workaround. Sounds like a real workaround. Android Lust. Sniper Girl says, okay, normally if not making smart materials due to the error I mentioned previously, I named my layers for smart custom material mats. Smart custom smart mats. Android Lust says, well, to be honest, once I make the smart material and it's folder _1, I regret not naming it, but I turn around and do nothing about it. Sniper Girl says, needs to sway a lot more, make it look like a hurricane is going. No, we don't want that. all the other lights are very subtle. Like you see the palm there. The palm is not moving very much, but the palm is a lot lighter. So the breeze will move the palm more than it's going to move one of these heavy light fittings. I just want subtle. Less is more. Always remember, less is more. We don't want it to sway like it's a hurricane. Just want it to gently sway. Sniper Girl says, but Category 5 hurricane. I think actually we've got a cyclone, which is what we call hurricanes in our country, is going to form this, because today is really hot. Like we're in autumn at the moment in Melbourne in Australia, going into winter, and it's 30 degrees today. Like normally we get 21 degrees in autumn. So, and we've got a hurricane forming up the top of the country in Australia, in Queensland at the top of Australia. So we're in autumn and we've got a hurricane forming, a cyclone we call them. The weather's weird. The weather is weird. Now, what I have noticed too, just to your point, Sniper Girl, where you say make it into make it swing faster. When you use a thruster on a physics object, I've noticed in the engine, the longer that the game plays, the faster that thruster becomes. And now I haven't played it long enough, left it long enough to see just how quickly it does end up going, but it does tend to pick up the longer the game plays. So the longer the program is running, the game is running, the more that thrust seems to pick its speed up. So you don't want to go too high, otherwise you're going to have the thing swirling around like a plane propeller. So just to be something to be aware of, if you do use thrusters in the engine, I have noticed that they do tend to speed up after a time. No, that's nice. We get this nice shadow moving across the wall. Nice creepy looking shadow. We don't want it too fast. But that's why I've left it here playing for a little while I've been talking to you guys, because I do want to check to make sure that they don't spin too quickly. And you have to wait to check that. So, what else do we have left in our room here? I think the only thing left now for us to do will be to... the other thing I want to point out actually, while we're talking about the engine... now, when the studio, when we release this game at the end of the year, you will be able to turn ray tracing on. I can't show you ray tracing turned on while I'm working on it because I'm not allowed to. I'm under NDAs and stuff. So you won't see it with ray tracing turned on, but you will be able to play with ray tracing turned on when you buy the game. Now, I want to make sure that people that don't have an RTX card can still play the game and enjoy it. So I'm using reflection captures. So when ray tracing is turned on, it's not a problem. It's all real-time reflection. But with no ray tracing, you have to rely on a reflection capture. And one of the limitations of a reflection capture is it does not reflect movable objects. So if you look in the reflection here, you see that both of these light fittings are not being reflected. They're just not there at all. It's because they're movable objects, and a movable object will not show up in a reflection capture. It's only static objects do, static meshes. Now, it's not something a player is generally probably even going to notice, and you probably wouldn't notice it unless I pointed it out to you like I just have. If you're just playing the game, you're coming along, you want to have a look at the books, you want to move along here, you're probably not going to notice. But yeah, just something to be aware of. If you do use reflection captures, movable objects are not reflected. You could use a planar reflection, which is built into the Unreal Engine, but it's really performant heavy. It really kills performance if you start using planar reflections. They will reflect movable objects, but yeah, performance is going to drop. Whereas reflection captures, they cost nothing. They're not run at runtime. calculated before the engine starts playing the game, so there is no cost to using reflection capture as far as frame rate goes. But if you're using ray tracing, that won't be a problem. You'll see everything reflecting because it uses real-time reflection. Sniper Girl says, be honest, gives you a reason to just talk. That's the real reason. Well, I'm a motor mouth, you know that. Android Lust says, most people wouldn't notice too much. I don't think they would either. And there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. That's just going to be one of the restrictions of using reflection captures. But as you're playing the game, I don't think people will notice. I mean, they're likely to notice the statue, and she reflects because she's a static object. They're less likely to notice the light fittings not being there if they're just playing the game. Alright, so what's left? I just want to bring a couple of plants in, I think, just for around the base here, just to soften it up. It just looks a little bare. So I'm going to copy one of these plants, I think. So we'll take this one. We'll see if it's too high. It might be a bit big, but we'll find out. No, don't tell me that's what I did. No. Is this an instance? Don't tell me this is an instance. I'm just getting confused because I can't see the axes. I'm concerned this is it is an instance, damn it. Okay, it's an instance, which means I can't copy and paste it because it's instance with every other one of these type of plants in the building. This is why I generally don't do instancing until the end of the design. All right. So that means these are all going to be instances, unless I miss my guess. Keep getting the particle effect. Yeah, they're all instances. All right. Okay, just means I've got to remake it. That was my bad. I set up instancing a little bit early on some of the objects. I shouldn't have. Okay, let's find a pot. Indoor plants. Okay, that's where the plants are, but I want the pots. Where are the pots? Terrains, maybe? Probably in interior. Yes, so let's bring in one of these pots. Let's scale it up. So we want to put a pot about there. Pot. That's right, pot. Planter. What do you want me to call it? Well, I call it a pot here, but planter is just as good. Ceramic pot. Android Lust says, my friend just told me New York practically closed the bridge going from New Jersey to New York because of the coronavirus? So they closed the bridge from New Jersey to New York, man. I know that there are a lot of cases in New York. There's like 130 cases or something last time I saw a news report in New York. That's pretty bad. Sniper Girl says, thought you were offering us all no. That's, yeah, wow. I'm amazed at that as well. Dear. I guess when the virus starts to spread, it starts to spread quickly. So they're just trying to take every precaution they can, I suppose, to stop it from spreading as quickly as it might. Let's scale the dirt back a little bit. Move the dirt down a little bit. I think I scaled it down a bit too much. And let's bring in one of these plants, and it was this one here that I was wanting to use. I'm going to scale it back a little bit because I don't want it to be quite so tall. I'm going for this like stair-step pattern. She's taller, she's tallest, then the plant, then the table. Just move it in, move it down. Okay, and I think I want one more plant here. Smokery says, good idea. You don't want Jersey to escape from... You don't want Jersey to escape from Jersey. I see those programs like Jersey Shore and all that sort of stuff that you guys export from the United States that we're forced to watch on Australian television. Those reality TV shows like Jersey Shore. Are those people real? Is that what those people are like in Jersey, Smokery? Or is that all just put on for the camera? Or are there real people like that? Android Lost says, I heard New Jersey stinks. Sniper Girl says, what if you commute for work? Are you just square out of luck? Yeah. Android Lost says, you'll just be square out of luck. My friend was supposed to go to New York today, but didn't for some reason. Luck. Luck +5. Yeah. Yeah, that's terrible. Smokery says both. Sniper Girl says, I get the concern. I mean, the coronavirus kills twice as much as the flu. Yeah, it does. The death rate is about 3%, I think. Between 3 and 5%. They're not quite sure yet. At least that's seems to be what they're saying. What about if we pull in... Because we've got a couple of prefabs here, so I don't have to make anything, which is always nice. What about one of the ferns? It's using the same pot, which I probably wouldn't. I generally wouldn't do. Reuse the same pot. It's actually on an angle as well, so I just need to fix that. There we go. But occasionally having the same pot is not terrible. People generally buy the same sort of pots in their house when they're putting plants around, so we can make it work. I'm just going to move this plant over. And that means I need to move this one over. I'm just going to play in editor as well so I can check what it looks like. Just making sure we're not getting anything poking through, like the plant isn't poking through the statue or the table, that sort of thing. he's watching you. Watching, always watching. I think we should be okay. I'm just trying to decide whether I like that plant or not. The tall one. Whether I want to change that plant to something else. I'm just going to do a save all before I make any decisions. Is there anything else here that might be more interesting?
Take me back to the days, holding hands and laughing the nights away. Will things ever be the same? I was a man and I
I'm just curious. This is a prefab, so I can drag it in and we can see what it looks like. It's a bit too big, I think, for that area. But I will double check. Just going to move it sort of where that plant is. I don't want to hide the statue too much. Let's try rotating it around. Yeah, I think it's going to hide the bed a bit too much as well in the background. We could always scale it down a little bit, I guess. We need to keep, we need to keep easy access to this table because this table is really important for gameplay. So unfortunately, that one won't work. Snoper says it's weighted heavily against the elderly. That's true. Android Lost says the elderly is still a large proportion of the population. That's true. Sniper Girl says that reminds me. Do you know what my idiot in chief asked? He asked if the flu vaccine will work on the corona. No, it won't work. 4 more years, huh? Android Lost says. Sniper Girl says, we'll see. Android Lost says, we all know Trump is immune to the virus. He's the healthiest president in all history. Well, that's what he says. That's the brag what he's always bragging about. Oh, Mr. Trump. Man. Mr. Trump. We can't put a palm tree there because the palm tree is going to be a bit too much for here. I just don't know if I like the look of that that plant. That's all. Nothing against the plant, but I just don't know if it suits that spot. Or if there mightn't be something a little bit more interesting we could put there. What's this? Let's see what this one looks like. This is a bamboo. We haven't actually used the bamboo a lot either in the level. We used it downstairs in the vestibule, but apart from that, we really haven't used it very much. So it might be a good one to put here. So I'm going to get rid of that other plant we have going on. It's easy for us to put it back if we change our mind. And let's position our bamboo. Let's rotate the bamboo around. Maybe I'll like it more if it's rotated. Yeah, I prefer the leaves on this one as opposed to the other one. I just don't know if I like the bamboo though. Turn game mode on so I can see a little bit more easily. Oh, I don't know. What else have we got to play with here? We've got this burn. What does that look like? I've never used it. That's why the shaders haven't been compiled for it. So I made it but never ended up using it inside the level. Let's put that there and see what it looks like. Let's just get rid of the bamboo. Let's scale it up. Yeah, I think the reason I didn't use it was because I didn't like the green colour. It was a bit too green. I'm just trying to decide if I want to change the shader or if I like the actual plant itself. I actually don't like the plant, so that's a no-go. Okay, let's try this one. I don't think I've used this one either. Again, that's why the shaders haven't been compiled. I made more plants than I actually ended up using, at least so far. We still have a couple of rooms to do though, so we always have the possibility of using it somewhere else. Let's just scale it back. So far I don't like this one much either. Oh. No, we want a uniform scale. Yeah, no, I really don't like that either. Okay, let's keep going. What else do we have? Let's try this one. I think of all of them so far, this is the one I like the most. What do you guys think? Sniper Girl says survives on McDonald's and Diet Coke, talking about Mr. Trump, I think. Android Lust says, I'm regretting not naming things now because I'm making a pumpkin now and I've made a pumpkin before. That's right. See, you wouldn't have this problem if you'd named them correctly. What do you guys think? I think this plant's probably the best of all the ones we've put here so far. Just adds a bit more greenery to that table, just softens that area up a little bit. Doesn't hide our table though, so again, let's just do a save all. Let's do a play in editor real quick so we can run around and check it from different angles more easily. So we still have easy access to the table for our interactions. Now, we don't see the plants because I haven't rebuilt the reflection captures. Until you do a rebuild on the reflection captures, they don't show up. Yeah, I think that looks good. It doesn't hide the bed, just softens up the corner, adds a bit of greenery, fills in the room a little bit more. Let's check our drawers and everything to make sure that they're all working. That's the desk. The light here will help with the, because we're going to put a hidden clue in here, so when they open it up they see it, and the light there will help to show that all. We've got our drawers. Those drawers don't open up because they're too high and the player will never be able to see what's in them. We've got our cupboards. And the wardrobe, which I need to put clothing in. I need to fill up the drawers, but we'll do that at the end. Aside from that, I think we're good. You don't know the plant name, but you're like, I don't know the plant name either, Android Lust. Android Lust says, I think it's called the elephant ear plant. Obviously not the actual name yet. I don't know what it's called either. I just know I like it as well, and that's what's important. As long as you like it, that's all that matters. Alright. This won't be turned on when you're in the room, this particle effect, this magic circle, because you need to turn it off before you can get in here. So we won't have the distraction of that blue light once we're inside the room here, because it'll be turned off. Smippery says, plays with door for 20 minutes. That's right. Open, close, open, close, open, close. I think we can call our bedroom done. I don't think there's anything else I need to do. Oh, I wanted to move into the hidden room to put some candles in there, but I think we might do that next week. I was going to escape out of that. I think we might do that next week. We just need to put some candles in the hidden room behind the bookcase, and then we're going to move down to the candles are already made. I've just got to copy and paste them in. We're going to move to the study, so we're going to start UV mapping and texturing and substance painter again, the assets for the study. But I think it's that time of the day and we might call it a day. Sniper Girl says, so name should be Phil with door fetish then. Don't you like opening and closing things? I know I do. I do want to thank you guys though for being here and for watching and for hanging out. It was good to see you, Sniper Girl. I'm glad everything's going well, and stay healthy and happy and safe, people. Don't freak out, but make sure you keep washing your hands regularly and try and avoid being in public places too much. And everything will be fine. You're not in one of those high risk age groups, so a bit of care and you'll be fine. We're all in the same boat. Hopefully you can get some toilet paper. Hopefully I can get some toilet paper before I see you all again next week. We'll see. But yeah, I do want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Sniper Girl, for the sub. I appreciate that as well. I will be back, obviously, on Monday next week at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States. You guys and girls, though, have a great weekend, great rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you all on Monday next week. See you guys.